Many people believe happiness lies in achieving more money, more recognition, more possessions, or more attention from others. From a young age, society teaches that success equals happiness, so individuals spend years chasing goals they think will finally make them feel complete. They work tirelessly for promotion, status symbols, or approval, imagining that once they reach a certain milestone, peace and satisfaction will automatically follow. Yet after achieving these things, many discover that the excitement fades quickly. The new phone becomes ordinary, the promotion becomes stressful, and the praise from others lasts only for a moment before the heart begins searching again. This endless cycle creates emotional exhaustion because temporary pleasures cannot satisfy deeper human needs. Worldly achievements are not wrong, but relying on them as the source of happiness creates disappointment. Material success provides comfort, but it cannot heal loneliness, anxiety, or spiritual emptiness. A person may have wealth, yet struggle with fear, insecurity, or lack of purpose. When happiness depends only on external conditions, it becomes unstable because circumstances constantly change. Financial loss, criticism, or unexpected hardship can instantly shake emotional stability. This is why many people who appear successful outwardly still feel internally lost. They have fulfilled society's definition of success but neglected the inner dimension of the soul. True fulfillment begins when a person understands that happiness is connected to purpose rather than possession. Human beings are created with a spiritual nature that longs for meaning, connection, and direction. When life revolves only around personal gain or temporary enjoyment, the heart feels restless because it was created for something higher. People often try to silence this restlessness with entertainment, distractions, or constant busyness, yet the feeling returns once the noise fades. Deep happiness grows when actions align with values, when intentions become sincere, and when life is lived with awareness of Allah. Living with purpose changes how a person views daily struggles. Challenges no longer feel meaningless, they become opportunities for growth, patience, and closeness to Allah. Acts of worship, helping others, showing kindness, and seeking knowledge begin to fill the heart with a type of peace that material success cannot provide. Even simple moments, prayer performed with sincerity, gratitude for small blessings, or helping someone in need create lasting contentment because they nourish the soul instead of merely stimulating emotions. Another reason temporary happiness fails is that it depends heavily on validation from people. When individuals seek approval as their main source of joy, their self-worth rises and falls according to others' opinions. Praise brings excitement, while criticism causes deep sadness. This emotional dependency prevents inner stability. A person grounded in purpose learns to focus on pleasing Allah rather than constantly trying to satisfy human expectations. This shift frees the heart from pressure and comparison, allowing genuine peace to grow. Purpose-driven living also encourages balance. Instead of chasing endless desires, a person learns moderation, gratitude, and mindfulness. Goals remain important, but they no longer define personal worth. Success becomes a tool rather than an identity, and setbacks become lessons rather than failures. Over time, the heart recognizes that happiness is not a destination reached after acquiring enough worldly achievements, but a state cultivated through faith, meaningful action, sincere intention, and a continuous connection with Allah that gives life direction, clarity, and inner calm even during uncertainty and difficulty. One of the greatest obstacles to happiness today is constant comparison with others. People naturally observe those around them, but when comparison becomes habitual, it slowly steals contentment from the heart. With the rise of social media, individuals are exposed daily to carefully selected highlights of other people's lives, vacations, achievements, relationships, wealth, beauty, and success stories. These images create an illusion that everyone else is living a better, easier, and more fulfilling life. As a result, a person begins to measure their own worth against standards that are unrealistic and incomplete. Comparison shifts focus away from personal blessings and directs attention toward perceived shortcomings. Instead of appreciating progress, individuals start noticing what they lack. Someone may have a stable family, good health, and meaningful opportunities, yet still feel unhappy because another person appears more successful or admired. This mindset creates dissatisfaction even when life is objectively good. The heart becomes trained to look upward in envy rather than inward with gratitude. The danger of comparison lies in misunderstanding reality. People usually compare their private struggles with someone else's public image. Every person faces unseen battles, financial worries, emotional pain, family issues, or spiritual struggles, but these difficulties are rarely displayed openly. When individuals compare their real life to someone else's filtered moments, they unknowingly create unfair expectations for themselves. This leads to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and frustration, even though the comparison itself is based on incomplete information. Constant comparison also weakens self-acceptance. Instead of recognizing personal strengths, talents, and unique paths, a person begins trying to imitate others. They may pursue careers, lifestyles, or goals that do not truly align with their values simply because they appear successful for someone else. Over time, this disconnect creates inner conflict. Happiness decreases because the individual is no longer living authentically but chasing an identity. Shaped by external influence. Spiritually, comparison can harm the heart by planting seeds of envy and resentment. Rather than feeling happy for others' blessings, a person may feel bitterness or question why their own life seems different. This emotional state drains peace and distracts from recognizing Allah's wisdom in distributing blessings uniquely among people. Every individual has a different test, different opportunities, and a different timeline. What appears delayed or absent may actually be protection, preparation, or a path towards something better. Freedom from comparison begins with shifting perspective. Instead of measuring life horizontally against others, a person learns to measure growth vertically between who they were yesterday and who they are becoming today. Personal improvement, sincere effort, and spiritual development become more meaningful than competing with others. Gratitude plays a powerful role in this transformation because acknowledging blessings trains the mind to focus on abundance rather than deficiency. When individuals celebrate their own journey, they experience relief from unnecessary pressure. Progress becomes personal rather than competitive. Small achievements bring satisfaction because they represent genuine growth instead of social approval. Relationships also improve because admiration replaces jealousy, allowing people to support and uplift one another sincerely. Understanding that happiness does not come from being ahead of others, but from being at peace with one's own path, helps restore emotional balance. Each life unfolds according to divine wisdom, and contentment grows when a person accepts their unique story, values their own blessings, and invests energy into becoming the best version of themselves rather than trying to live someone else's life shaped by comparison and unrealistic expectations. A major reason many people struggle with happiness is the habit of focusing on what is missing instead of appreciating what already exists in their lives. Human nature often adapts quickly to blessings. Things that once felt like miracles gradually become normal, and once something becomes familiar, appreciation fades. A person who once prayed for health stops noticing it until illness appears. Someone who longed for stability stops valuing it once daily routines become ordinary. This tendency to overlook blessings creates a constant feeling of dissatisfaction because attention is directed toward unmet desires rather than existing gifts. Modern life encourages endless wanting. Advertisements, social expectations, and social media constantly present images of better lifestyles, newer possessions, and higher achievements. This environment trains the mind to believe happiness lies just beyond the next acquisition or accomplishment. As soon as one goal is reached, another appears, creating an endless cycle of striving without contentment. The heart begins to believe that fulfillment will arrive only when certain conditions are met, yet those conditions continue to change. Without gratitude, success never feels sufficient because the standard of satisfaction keeps moving further away. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you, it is a mindset that reshapes perception. When a person consciously recognizes blessings, the emotional experience of life changes. Simple moments, sharing a meal, having supportive relationships, waking up with strength, or having faith begin to feel meaningful. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity to abundance, allowing individuals to recognize how much goodness already surrounds them. This awareness reduces anxiety about the future and regret about the past because attention becomes rooted in the present moment. Spiritually, gratitude strengthens the connection between a person and Allah. Recognizing blessings reminds individuals that their lives are supported by divine mercy and care. When gratitude becomes consistent, it transforms ordinary experiences into acts of worship. Eating, working, learning, and interacting with others become opportunities to acknowledge Allah's generosity. This awareness nurtures inner peace because the heart feels secure knowing that blessings are not random but intentional gifts. A lack of gratitude often leads to comparison, jealousy, and chronic dissatisfaction. When people focus only on what they do not have, they unintentionally diminish the value of what they possess. This mindset can even damage relationships because individuals overlook the kindness, love, and support already present in their lives. Instead of appreciating people and opportunities, they chase idealized versions of happiness that may never exist. Over time, this habit creates emotional emptiness, even in circumstances filled with goodness. Practicing gratitude requires conscious effort. It involves pausing to reflect on daily blessings, expressing appreciation to others, and acknowledging small victories. Writing down moments of thankfulness, offering sincere prayers of gratitude, and recognizing progress instead of perfection gradually retrain the mind. As gratitude grows, emotional resilience strengthens because individuals learn to find goodness even during challenges. Difficulties become easier to bear when balanced by awareness of remaining blessings. Gratitude also changes expectations. Rather than demanding a perfect life, a person learns to value growth, lessons, and opportunities hidden within struggles. Happiness becomes less dependent on external achievements and more connected to inner appreciation. The heart experiences contentment not because life becomes flawless, but because awareness of blessings becomes stronger than awareness of limitations, allowing peace to grow naturally through recognition of what Allah has already provided rather than constant longing for what has not yet been given. One of the silent causes of unhappiness is the burden of carrying past pain, regret, and unresolved emotions. Many people live physically in the present but mentally remain trapped in moments that have already passed. Mistakes made years ago, words that caused hurt, missed opportunities, broken relationships, or personal failures continue to replay in the mind. This constant mental revisiting creates emotional exhaustion because the heart is repeatedly exposed to experiences that cannot be changed. Instead of allowing healing to take place, the individual keeps reopening wounds that need closure. Regret often begins with the belief that things should have been different. A person looks back and thinks about what could have been done better or differently. While reflection can be beneficial for growth, excessive dwelling on the past turns reflection into self-punishment. The mind becomes stuck in a loop of if only and what if, which prevents acceptance of reality. This resistance to what has already happened creates inner conflict because life continues to move forward while the mind remains fixed behind. Past pain also affects how individuals see themselves. A person who has made mistakes may begin to define their identity by those errors. Instead of recognizing that failure is part of human experience, they may feel permanently marked by it. This perception weakens self-confidence and creates a sense of unworthiness. As a result, even when opportunities for improvement arise, fear and doubt prevent progress. The past then becomes a barrier that limits future potential. Holding on to emotional pain also impacts relationships. Unresolved hurt can lead to mistrust, emotional distance, or difficulty forgiving others. When a person carries resentment, every new interaction is influenced by old experiences. This prevents healthy connections from forming because the heart is not fully present. Instead of seeing people as they are, individuals view them through the lens of previous disappointments. This creates misunderstanding and prevents emotional peace. Spiritually, remaining attached to past mistakes or regrets weakens the ability to trust in Allah's mercy. Many people forget that forgiveness is always available and that every moment offers a chance for renewal. When a person believes their past defines their worth completely, they overlook the possibility of transformation and repentance. This limits spiritual growth and creates unnecessary despair. In reality, every moment is an opportunity to begin again, regardless of what has happened before. Healing begins when a person accepts that the past cannot be changed, but can be understood and released. Acceptance does not mean approval of mistakes. It means acknowledging reality without resistance. When the heart stops fighting what has already occurred, space opens for peace. Forgiveness, both for oneself and others, plays a central role in this process. Letting go of resentment does not erase memory but removes its emotional control. Focusing on the present helps weaken the grip of past pain. Engaging in meaningful actions, setting new goals, and building positive habits gradually redirect attention away from old wounds. Prayer, reflection, and sincere repentance also help cleanse the heart from emotional weight. When a person turns to Allah with humility, seeking forgiveness and guidance, the feeling of burden begins to lift. Understanding that every human being makes mistakes allows compassion to replace self-criticism. Growth becomes possible when errors are viewed as lessons rather than permanent labels. Each experience, no matter how painful, contributes to personal development if it is processed with wisdom instead of resistance. Over time, releasing the past allows emotional space for hope, clarity, and renewed strength to grow naturally within the heart. A deep reason behind inner restlessness is the disconnect from spiritual life. Many people search for peace in external achievements, relationships, entertainment, or material comfort, yet still feel unexplained emptiness inside. This happens because the human heart is not designed to find complete satisfaction in worldly things alone. It has a spiritual dimension that requires connection with its creator. When that connection weakens, life may appear successful on the outside, but internally it feels incomplete and unsettled. In today's fast-paced world, people often become so busy with daily responsibilities that spiritual practices gradually lose priority. Work, studies, social commitments, and digital distractions consume attention, leaving little space for reflection or remembrance of Allah. Over time, this creates a distance between the heart and its source of peace. Even though life continues normally, something feels missing. This feeling is not always easily explained, but it manifests as anxiety, dissatisfaction, or emotional emptiness that cannot be fully resolved through worldly means. Prayer, remembrance, and reflection are not just rituals, they are sources of emotional grounding. When a person prays with sincerity, it creates a moment of pause in an otherwise chaotic life. It allows the heart to realign, release stress, and reconnect with purpose. Similarly, remembering Allah throughout the day brings awareness that life is not random but guided by divine wisdom. This awareness reduces fear of the unknown and softens the impact of daily struggles because the heart feels supported by something greater than itself. When spiritual connection weakens, individuals often try to fill the void with temporary distractions. Entertainment, social validation, shopping, or constant engagement with screens may provide short-term relief, but they do not address the deeper need of the soul. Instead of creating peace, these distractions often increase restlessness because they lack permanence. The heart keeps searching for something more meaningful, something that touches its deeper nature, which only spiritual connection can fulfill. A strong relationship with Allah brings clarity to life's purpose. It helps individuals understand that challenges are not meaningless, but part of a greater plan. This understanding transforms how difficulties are perceived. Instead of feeling lost during hardship, a person begins to see opportunities for patience, growth, and reliance on divine wisdom. This shift in perspective reduces emotional turmoil and brings a sense of calm even during uncertain times. Spiritual disconnection also affects emotional resilience. Without inner grounding, small problems feel overwhelming and stress becomes harder to manage. But when a person is spiritually connected, they develop strength that goes beyond circumstances. Prayer becomes a source of comfort, gratitude becomes a habit, and trust in Allah becomes a foundation that supports emotional stability. Rebuilding this connection does not require perfection but sincerity. Small, consistent efforts such as regular prayer, seeking forgiveness, reading, or reflecting on guidance, and remembering Allah during daily activities gradually restore inner balance. Over time, these practices soften the heart and reduce the weight of anxiety and dissatisfaction. The more a person turns towards spiritual remembrance, the more the heart begins to feel settled, as if returning to its natural state of peace and alignment with its true purpose. Where external chaos loses its ability to disturb inner calm and emotional grounding strengthens steadily through continuous connection with the divine source of all tranquility. A major reason many people remain unhappy is the belief that happiness will come automatically once circumstances improve without any effort toward personal growth. This mindset creates a passive approach to life where individuals wait for conditions to change instead of actively working on themselves. They imagine that once they achieve a certain job, relationship, income level, or lifestyle, everything will suddenly feel complete. However, when? Those goals are reached without inner development. The sense of fulfillment is often short-lived because external success alone cannot create lasting peace. Personal growth is essential because it shapes how a person experiences life, not just what they achieve in life. Two people can face the same situation, but their reactions may be completely different depending on their mindset, habits, and emotional maturity. Without growth, even small challenges feel overwhelming, while with growth, difficulties become manageable and meaningful. This shows that happiness is not only about changing circumstances, but also about improving the way one thinks, responds, and understands life. Many individuals avoid growth because it requires discipline, patience, and self-reflection. It is easier to remain in comfort zones than to confront weaknesses or change habits. However, avoiding growth leads to repeated frustration. The same problems appear in different forms. Relationships suffer from the will. Same patterns and goals remain unfulfilled. This creates a cycle where external changes are constantly desired, but internal changes are neglected, resulting in ongoing dissatisfaction. Self-improvement is closely linked with emotional strength. Developing patience helps a person handle delays without frustration. Building discipline allows consistency in actions even when motivation fades. Learning humility reduces ego-driven conflicts and improves relationships. Each of these qualities contributes to a more stable and peaceful life. Without them, even success can feel stressful because the individual is not equipped to handle it properly. Helping others is also a powerful part of personal growth. When a person contributes positively to the lives of others, they shift focus away from their own problems and develop a sense of purpose. Acts of kindness, service, and empathy create emotional fulfillment that self-centered living cannot provide. This outward focus strengthens character, will, and brings meaning to everyday actions, making life feel more valuable and connected. Failure and challenges play an important role in growth, although they are often avoided or resented. Difficult experiences teach resilience, patience, and self-awareness. Instead of viewing setbacks as proof of inadequacy, they can be seen as opportunities to learn and improve. When a person embraces growth through challenges, their emotional strength increases, and their ability to find happiness becomes less dependent on external conditions. Spiritual growth also supports personal development by guiding behavior and intention. Aligning actions with values creates inner harmony. When a person lives with honesty, sincerity, and awareness of accountability, their decisions become more meaningful. This reduces internal conflict and increases peace of mind. Happiness becomes more stable when it is built through continuous improvement rather than waiting for perfect circumstances. As a person grows, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, their perception of life changes. Problems feel less overwhelming, gratitude increases naturally, and purpose becomes clearer. Over time, the focus shifts from expecting life to change for happiness to becoming someone who can experience happiness in any situation through developed strength, awareness, and consistent effort toward becoming a better version of oneself every day.